When you think everything is someone's fault, you will suffer a lot. When you realize that everything springs only from yourself, you will learn both peace and joy. Most people do not really want freedom, because freedom involves responsibility, and most people are frightened of responsibility. When you complain, you make yourself a victim. Leave the situation, change the situation, or accept it. All else is madness. Hold yourself responsible for a higher standard than anybody expects of you. Never excuse yourself. Being responsible is an enormous privilege. It's what marks anyone a fully grown human. The victim mindset dilutes the human potential. By not accepting personal responsibility for our circumstances, we greatly reduce our power to change them. Taking responsibility is a commitment to your own life, to self-leadership, growth, and freedom. Man must cease attributing his problems to his environment and learn again to exercise his will, his personal responsibility. One of the most significant findings in psychology in the last 20 years is that individuals can choose the way they think. You can't change someone who doesn't see an issue in their actions. It is only when you take responsibility for your life that you discover how powerful you truly are. If you could kick the person in the pants responsible for most of your trouble, you wouldn't sit for a month. You are responsible for your life. You can't keep blaming somebody else for your dysfunction. Life is really about moving on. Fully accepting, loving, and being yourself allows you to be 100% authentic. This means being fully responsible for yourself. You must take personal responsibility. You cannot change the circumstance, the seasons, or the wind, but you can change yourself. The day you graduate from childhood to adulthood is the day you take full responsibility for your life. Part of getting a second chance is taking responsibility for what you did wrong in the first place. It is a painful thing to look at your own trouble and know that you yourself and no one else has made it. The price of greatness is responsibility. Take responsibility, trust, and have faith in yourself that you can offer the world something that no one has ever known. It is not only for what we do that we are held responsible, but also for what we do not do. When we have begun to take charge of our lives, to own ourselves, there is no longer any need to ask permission of someone. The secret ingredients to true happiness: decisive optimism and personal responsibility. Making someone responsible for your misery also makes them responsible for your happiness. Why give that power to anyone but yourself? Happiness is your responsibility. If you depend or wait for other people to make you happy, you will always be disappointed. Take responsibility for your own happiness. Do not expect people or things to bring you happiness, or you could be disappointed. The Bible tells us that when we're faithful in the little things that God gives us to do, then He will bring increased blessings and responsibility into our lives. You are never responsible for the actions of others. You are only responsible for you. The game is my life. it demands loyalty and responsibility, and it gives me back fulfillment and peace. Until you accept responsibility for your life, someone else runs your life. Take responsibility of your own happiness. Never put it in other people's hands. The natural human response is to react, but to take complete ownership requires courage and self-discipline. The more you have, the happier you'd be. Take responsibility for yourself. It's very rewarding. Accepting complete responsibility for your life means that you refuse to make excuses or blame others for anything in your life that you're not happy about. Peak performance begins with your taking complete responsibility for your life and everything that happens to you. Taking responsibility for oneself is by definition an act of kindness. Taking personal accountability is a beautiful thing because it gives us complete control of our destinies. Personal responsibility leads to national transformation. The greatest people are great because they're willing to admit their greatest faults. Action springs not from thought, but from a readiness for responsibility. When you start to accept responsibility for the results you get in life, you also take back the power to change your future outcome. Take responsibility. It's where your powers live. To achieve life mastery and be worthy of a life well lived, we must take action, ownership, and responsibility for our choices. Responsibility is the thing people dread the most of all. Yet it is the one thing in the world that develops us, gives us manhood or womanhood fiber. Stop pointing fingers and placing blame on others. Your life can only change to the degree that you accept responsibility for it. Liberty means responsibility. That is why most men dread it. If you have these two habits, then you are a loser. 1. You just work for money, not for passion. 2. Your decisions depend on other people's opinions. With great power, there must also come great responsibility. By taking responsibility for yourself, you can stop relying on others to take responsibility for you. Responsibility is a grace you give yourself, not an obligation. Take responsibility for your own greatness. No one can take that courage walk for you.